trading at its best.
So welcome to the Forex Weekly webinar today. I'm Mike Swanson, and I've been trading the markets for 10 years. And about 5 of those years I've been teaching other traders and building strategies and robots and indicators and platforms and all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and just get started right away and take a look at what today's lesson is going to be about. Simple trendline break strategy. I'm going to be teaching you a strategy you can use for entering the markets, and even you can use it for exits as well. So you're going to learn how to correctly draw a trend line. We're going to cover the basics first just briefly so that way we can make sure everybody's on the same page. And then after that we will talk about when to pull the trigger on these types of trades. And then finally we'll talk about how to use informers market sentiment as a filter. This is going to be huge because this is going to help you avoid those false breakouts that everybody asks. Everybody wonders about when they're trading any kind of breakout strategy. Okay, so let's get going. How to correctly draw a trend line. When you're drawing an uptrend line, what you need to do is locate 2 swing lows with at least 10 higher lows to the left and the right. You want to make sure it's a significant swing point that you're drawing from, and by looking for 10 bars to the left and the right, that's going to help. And then I also like to find it that it's not consolidating really flat, and I'll show you some examples of these on the charts here in just a moment. For a downtrend line, you're going to want to locate 2 swing highs with at least 10 lower highs to the right and the left. Okay, so same thing. We're just looking for significant swing points to draw from, so that way we don't get caught in all the whipsaw mess. And then there's a couple rules. The line must not be broken between the 2 points that you draw. So if you drew between 2 points and the price came down and broke through, you're going to want to redraw it so that it's not penetrated by the market. And then also, once the trend line breaks after you've drawn it and the market comes through and breaks it, with this particular strategy, you're not going to want to use it anymore. You're going to want to redraw a new line. Okay, so those are the basic rules for drawing a trend line. And like I say, I'll go to the charts here after we go over all the details, and we'll do some examples together. So let's take a look at when to pull the trigger. The way I see it is you have 2 options. One, you can enter as soon as the trend line breaks. So as soon as it breaks, you can enter immediately. Second option is to wait for the price to close above or below. So if it's an uptrend that you drew, wait for it to close below the trend line. If it's a downtrend, wait for the price to close above to confirm the break. Okay, so those are the 2 ways you can do it. You might find one way works better than others on certain pairs, or you could use a scaling in approach and use both. Okay, so those are the rules. Now, the other rule here, the option for pulling the trigger, is to use that filter, and this is the part that's really going to help, is to use the market sentiment as a filter, and this is found in our Informer tool. Okay, what you're going to do with it is you're going to confirm that there's no major support or resistance near the breakout. And this is going to make it so that you're not getting caught just before a false breakout like everybody else. Okay, so this is huge, and I'm going to demonstrate this here in just a second. So let me bring my charts up here, and we will go over a few examples of drawing the lines, and then we will look at the filter and verify some trades that have happened recently, so you can kind of get a feel of how to use this. That way you can get started using it right away and start practicing these setups. Sound like a plan? Okay, well, let's take a look at my charts. Okay, so I just grabbed a pound-dollar daily chart, and remember, I did a lesson on time frames, and it doesn't matter what time frame you pick. Okay, if you want to be a day trader and watch the charts all day long, or several hours a day, you can go to your 5 minute, 1 minute, 15, doesn't really matter. Okay, the rules I've showed you apply to any time frame. For this, I'm just going to go with the daily, and since I like to trade off the daily charts and not watch I like to trade 5 to 10 minutes a day, I stick with my daily charts. Okay, so here we are. I got a candlestick chart up. We can see all the swing lows and highs where the market's pulling back and taking off from. And what we want to do here is we want to draw either an uptrend or a downtrend line. And we can draw both and wait for the market to break those lines. Okay, so remember the rule is we want to look for a significant swing point. And that's where we have at least 10 bars to the left and to the right. Okay, so what I can do is just start from the current market price and go to the left and find those points. We want to find the most recent ones. Okay, so I can go in and say, let's get my little drawing tool up here. Okay, so I can go in and say, okay, I'm looking for 10 to the left and to the right. So here's a swing low. Let's check it. Let's make sure there's 10 to the left and to the right that are higher lows. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th one was a little bit lower. Okay, so I'm not going to want to draw that one. Okay, so I'd keep going. I'd keep going back to the next one. And I can do the same thing for the highs. Obviously, the market's moving up right now, so I'm not going to be able to draw a downtrend. So that's why I'm only looking at lows, so I can draw an uptrend. Okay, so let's keep looking. Okay, we've got one right here. I can obviously see there's at least 10 to the left and to the right on that one. So we have a valid point right there. So we need one more. Okay, so we'll just keep going back, and we need to find one that is lower so we can draw that uptrend. Okay, so the next lower one is about right here. Okay, and it looks like that has at least 10. So you can draw a trend line there. Now you can keep going and draw multiple trend lines. Usually what I'll do is I just won't go any further back than what I can view on my candlestick chart. You know, obviously I could zoom way out, but where I normally watch the market, I'm going to go back that far back. If I don't find anything, then I move on to another pair. Okay, so here I am. Right here, there's the next one. You can see obviously none of these in between here had at least 10 to the left until right here. So there you are. You've got your 2 points. Now all you've got to do is grab your trend line tool and draw it in. And you'd be looking for the price to come down and break this level and to take a short position. Okay, that's the basic rules, and then you're going to use that market sentiment as a filter when it gets to this point to make sure there's no support or resistance at that point. Okay, so that's how you would use it in the current market. Like if you were doing this right now on any pair, that's how you would do it. But to be able to demonstrate a trade that's already taken place, let's go back a bit and let's see. We're going to have to also go to a different time frame so we can use a historical market sentiment. But let's just go to our hourly, and let's go find one that already broke. Okay, let's see. Here's a downtrend right here. There's your let's see. We've got to have 10 to the left. It's about right there. 3, 6. So you got 10 right there, and it did not get broken by any of those. See, if I would have drawn it over here, I can't do that because the market was pushing through that line. Okay, so I need to draw it right here, and then I'm going to change these properties so we can draw it right on the point that we want. Okay, and then I drew it to this point because that's the next. That was the next one that had at least 10 to the left and to the right. This is for a downtrend, and we would look for a buy when it breaks. Okay, well it broke right here. Okay, so you could either enter a buy position right there or wait for that close right there, right closed above. Okay, so most traders would have jumped in on that immediately and would have no other filters. And sure, it would have worked out. It did make a little pullback first and then went up. But we'll look at this one and see if our market sentiment would have allowed the trade. And then we're also going to look at a false one to show you how you can use this as a filter. But let's verify. Let's bring up our market sentiment on the Informer tool. And if you don't have this tool downloaded, I'm going to get you the link here in just a minute. But let's look at it here. We're on the pound dollar. We're going to go down to the pound dollar. And we're going to go ahead and find that time on the market here. That was March 5th. So we're going to go down to, let's see, we're going to go down to our 7 days of data here. And we're basically going to match up the price with what we see on market sentiment so we can locate exactly where this took place and look at where the support and resistance was at that time. Okay, so I can mark a line on here and I can see that was 66.82. I'm just going to make it easier to read this. Okay, so it was 66.82. So we should have been seeing it something right in here. There was that downtrend right here, right? We can draw it on there if we want. Okay, it was roughly right here. We were looking to take that trade right there. Does that make sense? See that okay? Okay, so you're looking to go long right there. Now here's how you use the filter. So pay attention to this part. When you go to take that buy trade, you want to check where the next major resistance is at. And using the market sentiment, we can see it's this red block of resistance of actual limit orders looking to enter the market. That's going to cause resistance. These are real orders sitting on the market. Exactly what causes resistance. Okay, so when the market comes, when you're going to take a trade right here and you see resistance up here, you know, hey, I've got some room to take this trade. So you can say, okay, I'm going to want to take profits just before that resistance, or as the market approaches it, if it pushes right through, I'll hold my trade. If it hesitates and starts to bounce off of it, I will want to exit my position. But at least we have a place, we know that we have a place where the market's going to test, and it's quite a ways away. So there's room to get into this trade and write it up for a profit. Okay, and then if you look over here on our chart, that's what it did. You made a nice run, and then it hit that resistance, and look what it did. It bounced around. So you would have possibly just gotten out of all that before the big pullback, or scaled out and waited for it to push through. Okay, so that's how you would have used it, where the filter said everything's good to go. Now, if this red area would have been right on top of this potential break point on the trend line, we would not have wanted to take the trade. So let's find an example of that. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of skim through some of these. Let's see. I'm going to skim through some different pairs, and then we'll go to our charts and look at a filtered example. Let's see. Let's go to see what the euro-yen looks like. It's in a major uptrend. Okay, we could possibly use this one to find a false breakout. Okay, so let me draw this on here and then we'll draw it on the chart. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a break right there where it just barely breaks and everybody else got in, and I'm going to show you how you would have filtered that trade. But let's go look at it on the euro-yen. Move this over here real quick. Let's go grab the euro-yen on our charts. Okay. Okay, so here you would have had your swing low right there, and then you had a 10 bar low right there. So you got two swing lows. You drew your line. Most traders got in short right there, or if they waited for it to close below, they were getting short over here. These guys were losing money, obviously. And if you tried to trade a trend line break, I'm sure you would have got caught in the same bad trade that could have lost a lot of money on, right? Well, take a look at sentiment. The market sentiment, look what it was telling us at that time. Let's draw that same line on here again. Okay, right there. Look at where everybody else was trying to get into that trade. There were orders sitting right there that were not getting filled. So there was orders right on top of the market. So if we saw that, we would not want to take the trade because those orders were going to need to get filled to push lower. And that's why it bounced and went up instead. Okay, now usually it's going to be a block of buy orders below. In this case, you just had such a major uptrend that there were traders here looking to try and use it as a trailing stop, it looks like. These were buy traders maybe having sell orders for a trailing stop. Either way, though, they weren't filled and it acted as support and the market headed back up. Okay, let's find one more example and then we're going to wrap it up and do some Q&A and get you the download link to this Informer tool. So let's go grab, let's see, let me find one more on here. Let's find another one where you filter it. Because it's pretty easy to find the good trades. I want to show you how to filter the bad trades since that's going to be the more important part really. Let's see what the US CAD looks like. Okay, it looks like we could possibly, I don't see a clear one on that. Just want to find a really clear trade to show you guys here. Let's go to US yen. It's got a major uptrend. Okay, we could show you this one. Let's go to US yen on the charts. Okay, let me clear that off. And okay, so you've got this major uptrend, and it looks like you had a 10-bar low down here to right there on that swing low. You got your 10 to the left and 10 to the right. Okay, so look what happened over here. If you didn't use a filter, you would have got in short right here. Many traders did, and they lost money when the market spiked up on them today. So here was one today that if you saw this, let's say you were looking at the market right here saying, okay, should I go short? Well, if you don't have a filter, you would have gotten in short, and the market came along and would have probably stopped you out right there on the news for today. Well, if you're looking at the market sentiment, let's see if we could have avoided that. We can go ahead and draw the same trend line. Let's see, let me see where we're at here. That was from March 3rd. So yeah, right in there. Let me get the trend line drawn here. And, oops. Okay, so that same drawing would look something like this, right? I didn't get it exact, but there's that swing low, there's the other swing low. Here was the market looking to break through. Well, look at all this buy order support right on top of the price, and even just maybe about 20 pips below was even more. Okay, when you see that, you don't go short. You realize that this is a heavy uptrend with a lot of buy order support supporting the move, that you would not want to go short. Now, if the market came down and broke through those, you could consider getting in down here when it breaks. But you're not going to follow like everybody else and get in that false breakout. So isn't that a pretty sweet little filter? There's many ways you can use this market sentiment tool. I've taught on how to use it for stops and targets for your trades. I've taught how to use it for finding bounce trades with other strategies. So let me go ahead. Let's switch back over. I want to get you the download link if you don't have it already. And we'll get, like I said, we'll get into some Q&A. Okay. So the Informer tool is a free trading tool. It has many features on it, such as this market sentiment that I showed you, where you can locate true support and resistance that's created from actual market flow and market, limit and stop orders. You can use it to hunt stops like the brokers do. You've got the news alerts. I didn't go over that today, but you'll be able to use that so you never get caught in an unexpected event. You can set it up, and once you set it, you leave it. You set and forget, and it will notify you when there's news events coming up based on whatever time frame you specify. If you say, hey, notify me 10 minutes before an event or an hour before an event, it will always do that going forward without you having to do anything. Then you've got trade execution built in. You'll be able to instantly trade and manage multiple accounts with this functionality. And we've also built in money management, where you can turn losing systems into winners. We've got a brand new formula we're working on adding soon that's going to be able to trade against, basically flip your trades like a broker would and turn a losing system into a winner. So that's an update we're coming out with soon. So like I said, if you don't have the tool downloaded, there's the link, TradeWestForex.com/informer, and I'll drop that here in the chat as well. And you can get the tool downloaded. It's really easy to install. It'll ask you for a password right now. We're looking to actually add a guest account so you don't have to log in initially, but don't worry on that. Just as soon as you download it, there's a link that'll say, when you go to log in, it'll say click here if you don't have a password. Just click that and we'll email you a password to get in. So there's the link in the chat, and I'll show you what that does here when you click it. Okay, that'll take you over here to the download page. You just hit Save File. If for some reason this doesn't work, it doesn't pop up, down here we've got a zip file, and you can click that to do the installation. And that's pretty much it. So Once you get that installed, if you have any questions on it, we've got a help section and a welcome video that will get you started on how to use all the features. So hopefully this lesson will help you guys. Hopefully this is a strategy you can start using next week, and I hope to get some comments. We'll put the replay up and put it on the blog on Monday, and we'll shoot you an email and a message on Informer when that's all ready to go. So thanks for coming, guys. We're going to go ahead and get into the Q&A now.